It's Thursday, August 19th, right? Yes. And this is Jury Duty, a Big Brother podcast. Okay, this has been another really, really wild week. We actually saw two vetoes in play, both held by Kyland and Alyssa. Let's just start there. Obviously, Kyland got to use his first. Took Brittany off and took Claire off and put Brittany up. Mm-hmm. Kind of foreseeable. What did we think about that? I guess it doesn't really matter because she's gone.
I mean, it was so exciting last week to see the cliffhanger, and like especially like we were all watching together and it was so funny and like fun to do it. But now like I feel like this week was a little bit more cut and dry than the last time. And like the other thing is I don't know. I don't want it to get played out of like now we don't know what's gonna happen when like
right, especially when like I don't need a cliffhanger every single time, and it's starting to almost get like a little disrespectful. You know, like this a whole
what did I watch the Wednesday episode for?
Yeah, like there's also like a process that's supposed to be in place here, and like everyone just keeps bucking the system. Like you're not supposed to be like cutting everything off, like these last minute conversations. That stuff was supposed to have already happened, and it was exciting that first time, but now I don't know. You did it the second week, now it's kind of getting a little played.
Right, I don't want to see it like become this thing of, oop, guess what? Guess you'll have to find out tomorrow. No, tell me now.
Boo, lame. And I wasn't upset with the final nominations or anything. I thought that was fine. But Alyssa not using the second veto for the first time that I've seen that we had two vetoes in play, just disappointing. Would have been really fun if we would have seen like Brittany come off.
Right, and that's what, because you had said it the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, how good would it have been to like take Claire down, put somebody else up, and then that person gets taken down, somebody else gets up, and DF is sitting there like, dude, what the hell?"
Yes, I would have thoroughly enjoyed that. But okay, so kind of a flarn. But then we saw Brittany evicted, 7-1, but not before she rapped at us one more time.
Oh, Brittany.
Really happy to never see that again. So was this the right decision? No, please no. She
got time. She got time to come up with some rhymes now.
No, she's got too much. She's got a whole week by herself. It's bad news. It's bad news for us. So do we think that was the right decision? Yay, nay?
The right decision to send for the eviction tonight, or
to send Brittany out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because my answer might have been different last week, because I know that we have had a conversation earlier in the season about like the importance of getting Brittany out before jury, and now she's in jury and she's got a week alone, and I think she could definitely hurt some people's games potentially, when people come into the jury house. But I don't know. I was really hoping to see a flip of the vote this week somehow.
I was hoping to see a flip, but like I'm fine seeing Brittany go. And I thought that the way that she was handling it, even when talking to Julie, like maybe she won't be so bitter in the jury house. I do want to go back to Oz's treatment with her and that whole thing, like with her, like throwing her like the answer, like in the veto ceremony. I mean, the veto competition and everything. Like, what is all of that? Like, I don't really see how does Oz's game like really, really benefit from something like that? I get the whole two veto thing on the Joker's side, but like, is it really worth it for everybody else to see that you're doing that like right in front of them? Like, was it worth that? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you have to say, like, Azza, I think she should have just gone for it, and then she has a veto, and she can do what she wants with it. Like, I understand that the big main vetoes for the Jokers, but what did we see at the end? Nobody had a veto on their team at the end. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And shit,
What a
like
nightmare.
I was even saying last night, I think that like aside from Alyssa, if anybody was going to have a good chance of winning OTEV next to Alyssa, Azah had a good shot of winning that competition. So now instead of potentially being able to be the veto holder and control the whole scenario, like I understand that Azah winning would have then meant that Claire would have won the second veto, I believe, would have been the situation. But
I believe that was all so convoluted. Like, I mean, I understood
no,
it, but there's no way to keep track.
I think Claire had voted for Azah, so I can understand to a point that situation.
Claire,
but then, like,
did Claire bet on Kyland in the veto though? Because wasn't
no,
she?
I think. Let me.
Because didn't he kind of like throw it then? And she was like, wow, that's really messed up.
Yeah, no, yes, Claire bet on.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
He didn't want her to get the veto.
You're right. You're right.
Made that whole stink about, I don't want her to be able to take herself off. I want to be the one to save her.
Right.
Okay, so even more so then, because now I'm looking. Sarah Beth bet on Azah. I don't think Sarah Beth would have changed the nominations unless Kyland really wanted to get Brittany out. But I remember Kyland at the beginning of the week specifically saying, I don't feel threatened by Brittany. So why did you waste your HOH getting out somebody that you're not threatened by when you could have gotten out somebody that you did feel threatened by? Because again, the extraneous people of the cookout all have to go eventually. What does it matter what the boot order is?
Right. I think it's because Tiffany pulled those strings, because Tiffany put the kibosh on the Claire thing. That's really what it was.
Yeah. She shut that down.
I don't think it's Kyland really thinking for himself at all.
I will say, though, I'm a little frustrated with the edit because, Tiffany was kind of riding hard to make sure that Claire wasn't the target. But the episode made it seem like Tiffany was the reason why Brittany was the replacement nominee. But it was absolutely because she got the $100, which we were talking about last time. Like, it was a very big topic of conversation that America sees Brittany as somebody that they like. And if there was a chance for America to be continuing to award powers to people, Brittany would be the one to be earning those powers, which makes her a threat, which makes us not want her here. But I don't know if it was just production trying to cover up, like, nope, look, this twist isn't flopping. Like, this has nothing to do with anything. Like, this is a good twist. Like, this wasn't it. I don't know what the deal was, but they just cut it from the edit.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, nobody said anything about that with DX, though. Or did they? Did they?
I mean, people were already threatened by him, so I don't know if it necessarily changed people's view of him. I heard people saying it a lot about Brittany. I don't know if they were making the same claims about either Derek.
Okay. I wouldn't expect him maybe to say anything about Derek F, because he does seem to be like just very protected for whatever reason. But DX, I certainly would have expected them to say that about, because he is a comp beast. And like,
I mean, I'm sure it did come up in conversation, but people have already had his name in their mouths. So it didn't like add any additional targets onto him. He was already seen as a threat.
Since we're on him now, I mean, you know how I feel about him and everything, but I do think it may have been a misstep to not backdoor him. Just from a game perspective, I think that maybe he probably should have done that. It was really a golden opportunity to do so. What do you think?
It's no, you're not alone at all, because it was a thought that came up when we were watching the episode tonight. That came up between, who was it, Kyland and Xavier, right? We're talking about that scenario about Derek X being, potentially being someone they have to, worry about, and maybe he should go home sooner than later, even though they both like him and are working with him and all that. And it's funny to me that they didn't give it more thought and that it wasn't more of a possibility, considering that we just saw Derek X, pull that move on Christian and backdoor him and send him out. Like, I'm surprised it wasn't more fresh in their minds to be like, maybe we should do this now.
Like, he's not really afraid, like, to make bold moves here. Yeah. So,
could be a mistake that they didn't do it now.
Yeah, especially since they clearly know that America likes him too,
Right. He's in another week. That could be another $100. He could be up to $200 right there already.
Yeah, I'm happy for it. I already got a lot of text messages from CBS talking about how I have exceeded my voting limit, because I just really got into a rhythm of the copy paste send.
Again, like he's one of my favorites too. I by no means want him to go home, but I do think that would have been the best case scenario. Like if the cookout is to remain intact until final 6, Derek X is the big one that they got to get rid of.
Yeah. So this had a household now as we're going into this new week. This was a great competition. Okay, like this was very, very fun to watch. Definitely cheering a lot. This was very, very exciting.
Fun is subjective. I was stressed out.
Yes,
I was not having a good time.
This was an awesome competition. I don't know how we feel about the winner. I have a lot. I have a lot of mixed feelings. I was cheering for it. I was cheering for this one. I was excited. I'm excited to see someone not from the cookout win.
Yes.
I am very excited to see what this looks like. I was still rooting for DX. I think Sarah Beth will keep him safe, though. I don't think. Yeah. Well, I don't know though. See, I don't know because if she's smart, she shouldn't. But
I mean, her and Kylan's relationship really begs the question. I don't know. I'm not solid on what I think she'll do. Because especially if she and Kylan are as close as they appear to be, I don't know if she would target anybody from the cookout. I don't know how in her ear he's going to be and how much she's going to listen.
Right.
You know, I really I was not rooting for Sarah Beth at all. but as the competition went on and she was standing at that podium,
you started to get into it.
Yeah, I'm seeing people come out and I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe
you know what? With this one, maybe I don't know. When Alyssa came out, I said, ooh. Now that'd be fun. Yeah. Yep. And she flarned it.
Yeah. Oh my god, she was so close too.
Yeah, she really was.
She beat Claire. She was right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Derek F too was very close to beating her out. I was like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
I would have been so upset.
A Derek F HOH is
what a disaster.
It's kind of everything I want, though. I want give me the mess. I want to see it. I need it.
No, I'm good without it.
Good TV.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that a woman has taken power. It's
1,000%.
Yeah. I'm really happy for that. And I think I'm excited that it's not a member of the cookout. And because it's, because at this point, especially, I mean, the cookout has been dominating, but now
absolutely,
what is there? 10 people left in the house at this point, right? And 6 of them are the cookout, they have such an overwhelming majority now. So the fact that it's a woman, the fact that it's someone that's not in the cookout, but it's someone that's super closely aligned with a member of the cookout. So it's what's going to happen here? And
it is.
Well, at this point, everybody left is closely aligned with a member of the cookout.
Right. But I wonder, so Sarah Beth, is she thinking already, this is my chance now. I'm going to get Hannah now. You know what I mean? Remember she had that whole thing about Hannah, is this what, and is Kylan going to be
She sure did.
Will Kylan be able to convince her otherwise of that? Or does she not even care about Hannah anymore? Who knows?
Who knows? And see, now that DX has now kind of brought up the fact that there's no white men left, I wonder how far is he going to push this conversation? Because I definitely think there is an element of what Xavier and Tiffany were talking about in the bathroom when they said no, everyone's scared to bring this up. Nobody's going to want to say anything.
I have noticed on feeds there are people kind of teeter on the line of bringing it up, but I think that he's 1,000% right that people notice what's happening, but no one wants to be the one to say anything about it.
No. And but the fact that now we saw that DX has a little bit, I just wonder.
Yeah.
That could be fun. He's got to say something to Sarah Beth. He has to. That could be what then saves him from seeing it. Because if she was smart, she really should put him. It really should be him and Kylan or him and Xavier. I mean, she's not going to do
She's
Kylan.
Never putting Kylan down.
I know that she's not going to do Kylan, but I'm saying
I could see her targeting Xavier. That's someone that I was thinking about. If we see Noms next week, and it turns up to be Hannah and Xavier, that wouldn't shock me at all.
The only reason that would shock me is that that's 2 members of the cookout. I would think that
It really all
might
depends
try
on
to
how
block
much-
that.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know that though.
But it
No.
depends on Kylan's influence and how much she's willing to.
And I feel like he would try to help one of them. I feel like he might be able to get in her ear enough for one.
There is also, this roulette situation coming that we could do anything.
Oh boy, I know.
Anybody can end up on the block.
I know.
For all we know, Kylan might be on the block. Wouldn't
that be fun? On her HOH, if Kylan went home, she'd have a meltdown. Oh, what fun!
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm here for that too.
It's just this twist really stresses me out. There's just so many ways that this could go awry.
Do you remember the rules surrounding this roulette, though?
I believe
that was a lot of information in that one episode. It was a lot.
I'm trying to remember how you play. I know the result is that whoever it lands on would end up on the block, but I don't know. Like the people who are eligible to play in it, I don't know necessarily how you play. Let me see if I wrote anything down.
Right. If you wrote this down, it would be like
there was so much to unpack
with
this twist.
At first, I didn't even know what Julie was talking about. I'm like, what roulette? What roulette?
What was
the
it,
high
Kyle?
rollers thing.
Said, I think it was you, Kyle, that was like, I watched it twice and I still don't know what this is about.
No. I mean, they're going to have to keep giving us reminders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can't just jump right back into this and expect.
I barely understood Veto Derby until it was happening, and I was like, "Oh, this is sure."
Yeah, until I actually saw it happening, I had no concept of what was happening.
I have a feeling they'll probably explain each week.
I'm sure they will. I just wish.
Okay, so I think what it is that whoever wins it has the power to remove a nomination, but the replacement nomination is up to the roulette board. So I think it would be the equivalent of a second veto.
I like this.
That's wild.
I like this because that'll slap a cookout. That'll slap a cookout up there. Sure it will, because the majority of them are up there.
Right.
Right.
Very fun. Yeah. Okay. All right.
The only thing is it would have to be 2 cookout members on the block. Otherwise, whoever isn't in the cookout is just going to get voted out,
Right. But we could also get there by vetoes and things like that.
Sure.
Who knows? There's always a path.
And it's what the cookout is doing is they're a really strong alliance, especially you're seeing everybody who's voted out goes out into their exit interviews or whatever. And no one has any clue this is happening. No one's ever seen them all in the same room together. No one's ever, everything that Tiffany was saying, this is what we have to do. They've done it flawlessly. So no one in the house really knows anything about it. And they're on a fast track to making it all the way to the end. But I want to see, because to me, what makes a strong alliance and what makes strong gamers is when things aren't going the way that you expect it to, how well are you going to be able to pivot and re-strategize and kind of figure out how to now get back to where you wanted to be? And that is what I feel like we've been missing from them a little bit, because they've done such a good job of getting themselves this far.
Yeah, and everything has gone exactly how they needed it to.
But I want to see who's going to crumble under the pressure and who's going to be able to kind of flip the script and say, all right, this path to the final 6 isn't working out. How do we kind of re-strategize and rework our plan to maybe just take a roundabout way to the same route? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do I'm definitely rooting very hard for the cookout. And I like all of them. And I think this alliance really has everything. They're all very smart. They're all, they're all very, very physical. They have physical people on the team. They have,
really
everybody on the team has a sense of loyalty. Even though they've had disagreements and they've had fights, they've been very loyal to each other. That hasn't cracked at all. And I feel like it's been a lot of fun to watch them all season. But I do think that there's something fun also to the game when it's going back and forth a little bit. So while it would be awesome to see everyone in the cookout make it to final 6, I do also think it would be interesting to see how the season plays out if we have a Claire or a Sarah Beth or something like that are clinging on into final 6, but we have most of the cookout making it to final 5 or final 4 or something like that. I think, because then that like the season has been very interesting. It wasn't just a total domination the whole season. Like there
Right.
was, there was some back and forth, and I think it would be interesting to see, like, and that could happen, this week with Sarah Beth in power. Who knows? I mean, and with all these twists that are in motion, it's very interesting.
I really wanted to say that I was not rooting for the cookout. I really kind of wanted to slam it a little bit, but then you kind of talked me into it. They have worked very good as a unit. I do agree with that.
Job.
I'm just so tired of Asa that like it's so hard for me to say that I'm rooting for the cookout as a whole, because like she's just that whole veto thing.
Watching her so obviously throwing Otev like hurt me inside.
Yes, and like it's just I don't know.
And again,
just how angry she's getting about this girl going, and like it's
even when the episode ended just now, everybody was hanging out in the kitchen and she was like alone in a bedroom crying. And it's like, just at least like put on a face right now to like be a part of the game. Because like we were even saying yesterday, had this been a one-time thing and Azah just threw Otev to try to throw Brittany a bone and make sure that the two vetoes both went to the Jokers, fine. But it's been a pattern the entire game so far of Azah prioritizing Brittany's game over her own continuously. She offered to go up on the block as a replacement instead of Brittany to try to make sure that Brittany was a good, like,
right. And I feel like this is even like we keep saying that we're not really seeing Azah do anything. This is something that I keep seeing even like on the socials, like especially through that Big Brother Confessions account that we like to discuss so much, that Azah's not playing. She's not playing, and they're right. But she's not playing because she's playing for Brittany. I'm excited now to see if we actually see what Azah thinks about anything else. All I know about her is that she's got a face that everyone can read, and she loves Brittany. I know nothing else.
I know we talked about this a little bit in our last episode, but I've been getting really frustrated because again, I love this season, but there is a bit of a common theme of almost entitlement where like, I still don't really know where I land on like Kyland versus Azah and like the whole like one-on-one situation. But ultimately the entire reason that Azah was angry at Kyland is because she said, I want this. And he didn't just blindly give it to her.
Right.
If you want the HOH, earn it. No one's obligated to throw you a competition. Like, yeah, you're in an alliance together, but it's every man for himself.
Yes.
And the same thing happened. Same thing happened with, Xavier made a deal with Derek X on the wall. And then at the end, he was like, by the way, my whole team is safe. And if he didn't, all hell breaks loose. Then, Sarah Beth was crying during the veto competition because she had her 5K and you can't take it from me. Also, it's not fair that I'm on the block on my birthday. Also, it's not fair that no one's using their veto on me. Then Brittany earlier on in the season, it's not fair. I don't deserve to be on the block twice in a row. I deserve 2 weeks of immunity. I deserve to be given a power. I don't know where all of a sudden this entitlement is coming from this season where people think that they just deserve things to be given to them. You're in a game. You have to play for it. You have to earn it.
And I feel like people in this
real mad.
I was thinking about it a lot earlier today. Like, wait a minute, this has been happening the whole time. Why?
It's honestly, it's interesting to me too. Like we've seen this because I agree with you that I feel like we've seen many examples of people seeming like they just felt entitled to things. And what's interesting is that this season seems to be giving the house guests more than they ever have before between all the things, all the different prizes and the wild card competitions. Now this high rollers room, like there's been so many twists, and now we're just seeing these powers. Like, but in the wild card competition, Christian had the chance to give his entire team safety that 1 week. Ended up only keeping Xavier safe, but still, you got safety for yourself and one of your teammates. Like these were some great, prizes that were given out for different competitions and things like that. Like they've really been getting a lot of like different things to use this year, and it just seems so weird that like we're getting this.
Like, because we've talked before about how like this season in particular, we really like everyone on it. There's not been many people that it's like, oh, I can't stand this person. Like everyone is a good person that you want to root for. And I feel like because there is no real, I mean, there's been like butting heads of people here and there, but like, I feel like because there's less drama and everyone is nice, everyone expects like, oh, you'll do things for me now. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Interesting.
The one thing that I think has also been interesting, though, with these people, with all of this stuff going on. I have never seen such warm, like heartfelt goodbyes, like at that door. Like there seems to be like just a genuine love for people in this, which is really, really nice because some of this gameplay has been pretty like cutthroat,
brutal.
It's like savage. But then like you get to the door, it's like, listen, it was just a game. It was just a game. Love you. Call me. And it's like, that's very nice. Like that's
even
nice.
The goodbye messages too.
Yeah, with the state of the whole state of the world today, it's very encouraging. So what do we think Sarah Beth's best play is now, like going into this week?
Her best play, I don't know. Probably just to do what Kylan says, because that's where he's in the alliance that has the power.
Maybe.
The other thing to that though is like I don't see this happening because they've been so closely aligned the entire time. But before this week, Kylan was set up really well in this house, and then he won HOH, and now people aren't loving Kylan so much. So if Sarah Beth is smart, she's going to try to distance herself from Kylan as much as she can, because given the way that he handled this week, people are now, there's been talk of people thinking about maybe we cut him before 6. I don't know if we can trust him here.
Oh, really?
So
really?
I don't know if I foresee her doing that, but I don't know if doing whatever Kylan wants her to do is going to serve her very well.
Interesting. So hot take.
Yeah, right. Kylan just
shut that one down.
Kylan's like officially, like, is he like at the bottom of the cookout right now? I know, like, is he like he is just the one that people trust the least? At this point, he's almost like a vote for their side of the house. At this point, I mean, that's what it seems
pretty much across the board. Everyone's like, we got to get him out first. Like again, like Tiffany has been toying with like maybe if need be, and like there's a chance to get rid of him before 6. Like.
Because she didn't like that Claire stuff. And that's what's going to get really interesting too, to John's other point. And that could be Claire's path further. Because I don't see Miss Tiffany giving up little Miss Claire anytime soon. Like, I'm starting to think that she might start or may already be prioritizing Claire over some members of the cookout. Just from what we've seen, I'll be very curious to see if there's a decision to be made between Azah and Claire. Like if we're down to 7, and if it's that.
It's funny because I feel like we're not far away from that. So like we're
not
really
far away from that. That is a very, very real possibility.
Yeah.
And at this point, because there's already been some weird stuff with Tiffany and Azah, right? So in a situation like that, does Tiffany keep her? I think
we heard Tiffany's DRs during OTEV. Like, I'm getting really tired of Azah and the way that she's dealing with this whole Brittany situation. So she may see her as a liability. I don't know. Right.
I can't wait to see what that looks like. But back to Sarah Beth. I mean, what is she going to do?
I really don't know.
I think she should put up Derek X for her game. I think Derek X really does need to go up, or at least he needs to be backdoored. You have to start firing shots at him. He wins too much. I mean, stop playing around.
Which again is why everyone said maybe you shouldn't want to get Christian out, because now Derek X is like, he's the guy who wins, Yeah.
Because the only person who can beat him is Xavier. So
I could see that, and I could see Kylan advocating for that. And if Sarah Beth is already thinking about it, and Kylan is saying go for it, like I could see Derek X being a target. See,
I mean, at this point, any target other than the cookout, he's going to be like, yeah, do that.
Right. No, exactly. I feel like,
or is he? If he starts to catch wind that he's on the bottom end of things, he may say, you know what, maybe this is it.
I don't know.
Because it's not even my HOH. Maybe I can use Sarah Beth as a way to start firing shots at these people.
That actually is interesting.
Because now it's not me. Sarah did it. Miss Sarah did it. Hot take.
I don't know, because there has, we talked
Yeah.
about, there has still been this thing of, even though people in the cookout are butting heads, they're like, all right, well, shelf this for now, like prioritize just getting us to 6 and then we'll hash this all out. But I don't know if it's getting down to the wire. We might be able to see something like that. I'm not sure.
Ooh.
You see, I think that Sarah Beth, like, I think Kylan is definitely very influential, but I do think that she's more likely to do her own thing than some of these other people that are in like little duos. I think she's more likely to kind of do her own thing. And so I think it could get very, very interesting. But see, Sarah Beth is also she's like the first person who has to be put in this situation where she doesn't have any pawn to just put up. So like that's what makes it so much more interesting. Her target, and it's very interesting. So
yeah, the house pawn is gone.
Yeah.
So
right, that was making it really easy for everybody.
Sure it was.
So, which, you know what, by the way, because I definitely gave Brittany a hard time at times, but like at the end, hearing Julie say that she was on the block 4 to 6 weeks, I did feel for her a bit. She had it rough in that house. So
she definitely did have it rough. I guess and it's very, very hard to make these kind of comments when you're not in that situation. I can't imagine being in a house and like really going through that. But from the outside looking in, you've also got to know that game-wise, it just made the most sense. You were already established as a pawn.
Yeah.
Whoever else, if they had a target and they needed to put somebody up as a pawn, of course it's going to be you, because it's not extra blood. You know,
right.
Of
course. Yep.
You got to know that from a game, it so sucks that it happened to be you. But like anyone who's watched this show and being a super fan like she purports to be, I mean, you got to be able to like, as much as it sucks, but then again, like, you're kind of in this pressure cooker, like, so who knows? Like,
absolutely.
Who knows how we're gonna take things?
Every super fan that's ever gone on the show has come out and been like, I said a lot of shit when I was the person watching the show, and now that I'm in, it's a totally different ballgame.
Right. So like, I don't want to say, but like, that's just the most that I can offer. But like, from the outside looking in, it made good sense to keep using her.
Right.
And I hope that when she sits back and she rewatches things, she sees it a little differently, and she realizes that these people, I'm sure they were being genuine when they said they loved you.
And you know what? She had a strong bond with Derek F and Ozza for sure. Like they definitely like really,
that was endearing. That was nice.
Like,
again, we had even discussed, like, after we were watching whatever episode it was, they all went in together to the HOH. They were like, well, Brittany gets called in, now we're all going in. And it was kind of this toss-up of like, well, were they doing that for Brittany or were they doing that for us? And while I do think that it was to protect their game to an extent, I mean, that it's so clear that they were like riding for Brittany. That was like, even though they weren't a team anymore, they were a team, and they were going to be a team as long as they possibly could. Even like you saw Derek, when Kylan was talking about, using the veto, taking somebody down, he was like, all right, who's your replacement? And as soon as he said Brittany, he was like, no. Somebody else. It's like not gonna happen. Like they really did everything that they could to protect her.
Like you think about it, like Derek F at the start of the week literally volunteered himself so that Brittany didn't have to go up, and then by the end of the week he's sitting next to her on her way out the door.
I mean, come on.
That's heartbreaking.
There is something a little funny about that. I mean, come
on. It's also heartbreing. And it's a little funny, but it's heartbreaking. Okay.
And even all week, he was like, what am I supposed, like, I can't campaign against this girl. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just going to have to, like, lay down and not say anything. Because he really didn't want to have to fight against her.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like, he knew that he was going to have the votes no matter what, but he still was like, how can I really campaign?
Right.
Which also, can we just take a moment and acknowledge that Julie said his name first? With a vote of 7-1, Derek, you're safe. Brittany, sorry, you're going home.
Hold on. She does always do that. Like, she does that.
There is a
she does that. She does it like once a season, unless it just is unless it's just a recurring flaw. And I always thought it was like a way of like just trying to like jar people. And like, no, I think it's part of the entertainment.
Sure.
just for the faces, like
Sure.
and like no, I always know.
No. I've seen her do it before. I've seen her.
Yeah,
do it.
she has.
Yeah,
But it's also possible she's just messing up. Julie, if you're watching, we're so sorry.
Julie was having a rough go tonight. We'll give her a break.
I love that woman, though.
I know. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to acknowledge it. She's great. So the week ahead, we've got the high rollers going on Sunday. We're going to find out who won what. Oh, I really want Derek to get 100 again, please. But even if because he didn't do anything, so even if he doesn't get the 100, he only gets the 50. Now, this roulette thing was 125, right? 125.
Something like that.
Either 125 or 150, but either way, he's gonna.
Either way, he's gonna be able to have. He can afford it. He can afford it. Please give him the 100. Who are you guys voting for? Who are you voting for? I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, really. Last week I split evenly between Derek X and Claire.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Who am I voting for?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to do the same thing.
And I think that's acceptable. That's acceptable. They're working together, okay? A vote for Claire is a vote for DX.
It's my Astoria queen. I can't leave her out to dry.
Yes, okay.
That's kind of
that's
kind of how I'm feeling too. A Derek X, Claire. They'd be probably the main two vote getters from me. Derek X.
The main two.
Yeah, but I
so
don't know.
So we get 4-4, and then what? But just throw into. I
don't know. I'd have to think about a third person potentially.
Really?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I might just do 5 and 5. We'll see.
Who would even be in contention? Who is even like crossing your mind to be considering this horrid vote split?
I'd maybe throw I'd throw like a Derek F a vote maybe.
Colin.
I kind of just wanted to say that just to see what you would do.
I want a Derek F HOH. I want it. I want to see it.
No.
I want to see it too.
I want Claire.
No one voted tonight. I didn't get one.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I could do without one. That's all right. So we got high rollers on Sunday, and then I guess we're going to find out what Miss Sarah Beth is up to. I can't wait to see. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even looking at any notes that I might have taken during any of the eepisodes. I literally have just been kind of talking with you guys. It's been great.
It's been great. I had a lot of fun.
It's been a nice conversation, you know?
Yeah. Silly. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, and this has been Jersey.